So, the Triumph Street Cup. I think there's a lot riding on it because it brings a sense of completion to the Bonneville range by forging a link between the entry-level Street Twin and the range-topping Thruxton. And just look at it, the Thruxton's cafe racer looks have definitely found their way onto the Street Cup. It's got a sleek bullet tail unit, a fly screen, drop bars with bar-end mirrors, and to my eyes, it looks like a smaller Thruxton, and that's perfect. It means that the same beautiful cafe racer styling offered by the Thruxton is now accessible to riders that might have been dissuaded from adding one to their garage because of its power, its physical size, its price, or even their license restrictions, because there's an A2 restrictor kit available for the Street Cup. It costs £8,600, which is £900 more than the Street Twin, and it should be in Triumph dealers now. So being based on the Street Twin, it shouldn't come as a surprise that the Street Cup is powered by the same 900cc liquid-cooled single overhead cam 8-valve parallel twin high torque engine, which puts out 55 horsepower and 59 pounds-foot of torque, and it breathes its combustion gases out of a new pair of satin black stainless steel exhausts. They're shorter and wider than the pipes on the Street Twin, and Triumph claims that they're lighter too, but what's really important is that they sound great and give off a kind of rich, deep, full burble when you crack the ride-by-wire throttle. The engine's performance is the same as the Street Twins, with torque to hand as soon as you tease the twist grip back, and it fuels really well too. Because there's more torque than horsepower in the engine, it is inevitable that the pounds-foot becomes the star of the show, and most of the meaningful power lies between about 3,000 and 5,000 RPM, I found, with peak torque landing at just over 3,000 RPM. Although it's there from pretty much nothing, I found that getting a move on meant staying in that kind of sweet spot. Otherwise, you risk feeling like party's over too soon. But then again, perhaps not that many Street Cup owners are going to be interested in extracting every last drop of performance from the engine. And to that end, in a more sedate riding arena like a town or a city, it is the punchy, fun and usable urban sports motorcycle that Triumph says it is. So along with the engine, the Street Twin's electronics remain too. So it's got ride-by-wire throttle, switchable traction control, plus a USB port under the seat, and it's also got a light action clutch. The electronics are easily controlled via a little eye switch on the left-hand side of the bar, and information is clearly displayed on the dual-face clocks that come straight off the Thruxton. Follow your eyes downwards from the clocks to the front wheel, and you'll see a new 2-piston Nissin sliding caliper and 310mm floating disc with ABS, obviously. And it's a pretty average setup, if I'm honest, and the first time I asked for anything meaningful from the front brake, I quickly found myself pulling the lever back hard. The brakes are okay, but they lack decent feel and could do with a bit more power, and I wonder whether duplicating the brake setup onto the right side of the wheel would help things a bit. And speaking of feel from the brakes, or feel in general rather, the Street Cup's riding position is different to the Street Twins, but not radically so. So it gets a set of ace-drop bars with a little bit of messy welding on them, and they put me in a similar kind of riding position that's served up by the Thruxton. Part of the change in riding position is also down to the new Alcantara Effect seat too, which is 780mm high. That's taller than the seat on the Street Twin, and it's comfortable enough, although from memory I don't think it's quite as plump as the Street Twin's seat. The slightly longer reach to the bars and the fact that I sat a little further away from the tank helped give the Street Cup a kind of sporty riding position that really did actually encourage me to carry a little bit more corner speed, get close to the bike and kind of embrace the promise of cafe racer glory. The suspension performance is consistent at the front, and it coped well with the endless direction changes on the test route and occasional hard braking. Both ends could feel soft when really pushed, but the suspension does feel like it's on the money for this bike, and it managed everything I asked of it. And it's an agile bike. It's well balanced with neutral handling, and even though it weighs 200 kilos dry, its weight is well managed and it doesn't ruin any of the fun. So let's pay attention to some other details, like the really good bar end mirrors. They're really good. The LED rear light is also highly visible, even in bright sunlight, and I think it looks great. The Pirelli Phantom Sport tyres took all I threw at them, although with occasional help from the traction control. And after a day of pretty uneconomical riding, the dash told me I'd got 57.7 miles per gallon back. So Triumph's claim of 75.5 miles per gallon fuel economy doesn't seem too outrageous. Oh, and the bike's also got all the nice details that make the Street Twin so attractive. So there's the same fin cylinder heads, plus gorgeous paintwork which includes hand-drawn coach lines and smart gold-coloured engine badges. Visually, the only thing I didn't really like is that when viewed from the back, you can see the ends of the subframe which are visible below the seat unit. So the new Street Cup, it's a smart addition to the Bonneville range because it makes the gorgeous aesthetic of the Thruxton accessible to a wider range of people. It's the street twin made debonair and sportier, and it feels that way to ride.